Hey everyone, it's Manero here, and in this video I'm going to show you how I did this oil painting of a still I've seen with a burger and some fries in Procreate. So let's jump right into it. For this, I'm going to be using this photo reference by Mike Thomson and my thick paint brush set for Procreate, which is available through the link in the description below if you'd like to check it out. I'm going to be working on an 11 by 8.5 inches canvas in landscape mode, and as always, I'll start by importing some textures from the thick paint brush set. For the color base, I'll be using the spicy orange texture in a layer at the bottom, set in normal mode. For the oil texture layer, I'll use the oil texture number 5 in overlay mode. And for my wood board layer, I'll import the prime wood board texture number 1. For more details on how to properly set up all these textures, make sure to check out the guidebook that is included with the brushes. While I start to do the sketch, remember that you can see what brush I'm currently using at all times by looking at this rectangle right here. Alright, I wanted to talk a little bit about the reason behind my choice when it comes to the color base layer when doing this type of paintings. Basically, I'm looking at the reference and trying to think, what color of all the colors my eyes can perceive in this picture would I say that is bringing all the other colors together? Is it a warm or is it a cold color? It clearly is a warm color in this case, but which one? If you think about it, there is a lot of orange everywhere in this photo. There is orange or a warm brown in the table where the food is sitting. There is orange in the bread, in the cheese, and in the fries. There is orange in the reflections of the metallic container. Even the background is a very warm orangey brown, but in a darker value. There's other colors too, but those occupy a very minimal space of the total image compared to the oranges. So I come to the conclusion that the orange color base is going to give all the colors in my painting the harmony I'm looking for. Talking about the sketch, and if you have been watching my previous videos, at this point you have probably noticed that I tend to not over-detail my drawing. I'm more concerned about the composition, proportions, and placement of the elements rather than drawing a good-looking burger, recognizable lettuce, or tomatoes here. I like to leave enough room for improvising in the painting stage. Otherwise, I would be killing all the potential fun too early. As long as my composition is correct, my proportions are on point, and the overall shapes are understandable, I should have everything I need. Starting to paint now, I'll tackle the background first. Using different brushes, I'm focusing on putting down some color spots that will go from dark brown to green, including some deep purples here and there too. I'm trying to give the background some color variation, playing with different colors that I see in the reference. I try to stay in the mid-tone area right now. I will have time to go darker or lighter as I progress with my painting. The second thing I'm worrying right now is to add some interesting textures in this stage. For that, the Brushstrokes Texture 2 brush and some of the Super Oil Splats brushes will come in handy. Also notice that I'm doing my best to not cover the whole canvas, but to leave some areas open so that the orange color base is revealed here and there. After laying down some basic colors for the little bit of table we get to see in this composition, I'll paint in the local colors for the burger and the fries. When painting the local colors, I try to find the mid-tone for each element. Normally, I would do this for all the elements in the composition first, but when I got to the fries, I couldn't resist to immediately starting to work on the light areas in the left side of the fries and the crazy amount of colors in the reflection of the metallic container. It's a pretty simple composition anyway, so it should be okay. I'll jump to do the same with the bread. And then here comes one of my favorite parts that you'll see me do from time to time in all my oil paintings. Using the dry oil marks brush with the smudge tool, I'll blend some edges away in different places. I find that loosening up some edges in less important areas of your painting really helps to bring up the focal points and make them clearer to the viewer. For this painting, I would say that the fries and the burger's ingredients are the main focal points, and everything else is less important. This is totally up to you, by the way. I could totally choose to make the reflections in the metal container my focal point, and that would totally change the way I approach this painting. It's important to make yourself these kind of questions in your head while you paint. Otherwise, you'll end up with a painting that doesn't know what it wants to be, and it will be very hard for it to cut the attention of your audience. Once I have done that, and switching between different brushes, like the white palette knife and the super wet flat brush, I'll start to define the different elements further. I will have the focal points in mind at all times, so you will notice how the focal areas get more attention from me, and they will end up being the more detailed parts of my painting. One thing I'm trying to do in this painting is practicing my shape language. If you look closely at my brushstrokes, they are actually pretty graphic and abstract. But when you look at the general picture, it still looks realistic enough. I've always found fascinating the way the human mind can reinterpret something so abstract like individual marks made with a brush on a surface and see something from the real world that isn't actually there. Amazing how the brain works. Anyway, here you can see me working in the final details of my painting, redefining some parts of the background, simulating some of the wood texture in the table with interesting brushwork, and losing edges from time to time here and there with the dry oil marks brush whenever I feel I'm getting too specific in too many areas. And here is the finished painting. After working on this for a couple of hours, I'm afraid I'm going to have to call Burger King and order some takeaway or something. My stomach is killing me. Anyway, I hope you liked this video. If you did, consider subscribing and giving me a thumbs up. Also, let me know in the comment section below what other tutorials or videos you would like to see from me. I'll make sure to have your suggestions in mind. Before I go, don't forget to visit my Gumroad page, where you will find the thick paint brush set for Procreate and many other sets that I have available. I also have tons of freebies in there, so make sure to check them out. All the links are in the description below. Okay, thank you for watching, see you next time.